Picture this. 3:17 a.m. Eastern, dead of night, and every phone in the WNBA's New York headquarters lights up at once. Not a group chat, not a PR blast. A single text thread from a North Carolina number that still makes billionaires sweat. Michael Jeffrey Jordan. The message is only 8 words long, but it detonates like a bomb in slow motion. Grove XXIII. Tomorrow, bring your clubs. MJ. Sent to one person. Caitlin Clark. In Indianapolis, Caitlin's phone glows on the nightstand. She's asleep after another 40-piece that nobody in the league office bothered to tweet. She wakes up, reads it once, reads it again, and you can almost hear her heartbeat to the screen when she realizes it's real. No agent, no middleman, no pending league approval. Just the greatest who ever lived summoning her to his private kingdom. The one place on earth where even presidents wait for a tea time. Meanwhile, 300 miles north, Kathy Engelbert is already on her 3rd espresso, pacing barefoot in her Manhattan apartment, watching the text leak in real time. Someone screenshots it. Someone else posts it. Within 11 minutes, it's the #1 trending topic worldwide. And Kathy whispers the sentence no commissioner ever wants to say out loud. She's slipping away. She's really slipping away. Because Grove XXIII isn't a golf course. It's a coronation room. Obama couldn't get in without Jordan's blessing. Justin Timberlake begged for years. And now the same man who turned sneaker culture into a religion just handed the keys to the most electric young athlete America has seen in a generation. One text, one invitation, one quiet declaration to the entire sports world. Caitlin Clark doesn't need your league anymore. Your league needs Caitlin Clark. And somewhere in the dark, the old guard just realized the sun is coming up on a brand new era, whether they're ready or not. But how did we get here? How did the girl they told to stay in her lane end up getting personally recruited by God himself? Buckle up, because what happened on that golf course 72 hours earlier just rewrote every rule they thought they had. 72 hours earlier, the Florida sun is bleeding gold across the fairways of the Annika driven by Rolex Pro-Am, and the air smells like money and possibility. The gallery is polite, civilized, the usual country club murmur, until one name ripples through the crowd like electricity through water. Caitlin Clark is on the clock. She steps to the tee in a simple white Nike polo, hair in that signature ponytail, zero entourage, zero WNBA logo anywhere on her body, no scripted talking points, no league handler whispering, "Don't outshine the veterans." Just her, the driver, and a nation holding its breath. The swing is violent poetry, a vicious, controlled rip that sounds like a gunshot wrapped in silk. The ball climbs against the blue sky, hangs there for an eternity, then drops 300 yards out middle of the fairway, spinning back like it's personally offended by gravity. Dead. Silence. Then the place explodes. Not polite golf claps. Screams. Grown men in pastel polos, losing their minds. Phones shooting up like periscopes. LPGA pros on the range literally stop mid-swing to watch the flight. Nelly Korda, world #1, turns to her caddy and says, loud enough for mics to catch it, "Yeah, she's not supposed to be able to do that." And in that moment, every camera forgets the tournament itself. The broadcast feed cuts away from the leaders to follow Caitlin's group. The drone shot lingers on her walking down the fairway like she owns the deed to the grass. Within 20 minutes, the gallery triples, then quadruples. People are sprinting from other holes, leaving their own players behind, just to stand 10 deep behind the ropes and watch her breathe. Cut to New York. Kathy Engelbert's phone is vibrating so hard it falls off her desk. Her head of marketing is texting in all caps. The LPGA stream just hit 1.2 million concurrent. It's never broken 400K before. Another text from a board member. Nike Golf already asking for dual sport activation rights. They want to move budget from us to them. Because here's the part that keeps Kathy awake at night. This isn't happening because the WNBA sent Caitlin to golf. This is happening in spite of the WNBA pretending she doesn't exist outside their arena walls. No league push, no promotional campaign, no balanced spotlight memo. Just Caitlin being Caitlin, and the entire world choose her over everything else on the menu. The LPGA didn't tiptoe. They didn't lecture her about staying in women's basketball. They saw a supernova and said, "Come burn in our sky, too." They paired her with Nelly. They let her walk in front. They handed her the microphone and said, "Speak." And America leaned in so close you could hear the heartbeat of a league realizing it's no longer the only one with a claim on her future. The numbers that day weren't just impressive. They were a declaration of independence. But the real earthquake was still coming. Because while the golf world was crowning its new princess, one man was watching from North Carolina with the quiet smile of a king who finally found a successor. And when he decided to move, the entire power structure of women's sports cracked in half. Meet the woman who spent 2 years trying to put America's brightest new star in a box small enough for everyone else to stay comfortable. Cathy Engelbert, the commissioner who smiled for the cameras while sharpening the knife behind her back. Cathy didn't wake up evil. She woke up scared. Scared of the numbers Caitlin brought. Scared of the white jerseys flooding arenas in cities that had never sold out. Scared of the little white girls with ponytails suddenly become the face of a league built on black excellence and decades of sacrifice by women who looked nothing like her. So she did what terrified gatekeepers always do. She weaponized equity. Every time Caitlin dropped 45, the league's social team posted Angel Reese instead. Every time Fever tickets tripled in price, the league sent out a press release about collective growth. Every time a veteran cheap shot Caitlin, and the replay went viral, the league's statement was silence. They called it balance. The streets called it sabotage. And the soldiers on the court carried the water. Veterans who spent years begging for crumbs of attention suddenly had to share the table with a rookie who walked in and turned it into a banquet. So they did what hurt people do. They punished her body for their insecurity. Full court presses designed not to win games, but to send messages. Elbows to ribs when refs looked away. Post-game interviews where they smiled and said, "Welcome to the league," while their eyes said, "Stay small or we'll break you." Angel Reese became the public face of the resentment. Because somebody had to. Every time Caitlin's name trended, Angel posted a manicured middle finger. Every time Caitlin got a Nike billboard, Angel reminded everyone she's from Baltimore, as a geography could compete with gravity. She didn't hate Caitlin. She hated that Caitlin made the insecurity impossible to hide anymore. And Cathy let her carry that flag because it kept the old guard calm while they figured out how to dim the light without turning off the revenue. They told Caitlin, in 100 quiet ways, be grateful, wait your turn, don't outshine the culture that was here before you. They told her fans they were casuals, racist bandwagoners. They told sponsors her popularity was temporary. They told themselves the wave would crash. But waves don't ask permission, Cathy. They just rise. And while the league was busy building a cage with invisible bars made of guilt, lectures, and strategic silence, one man in North Carolina was watching every second of it. A man who once got blackballed by the old NBA guard for being too big, too brash, too marketable, too dangerous to control. A man who recognized the playbook because he survived it. Michael Jordan saw them trying to do to Caitlin what they once tried to do to him. And he decided the era of begging league for respect ends now. In a dark boardroom in New York, Cathy Engelbert watches Caitlin's golf swing rack up another 20 million views. And for the first time in her career, the numbers aren't on her side. Her chief of staff slides a single sheet of paper across the table. It's a screenshot, one line of text, from a number saved in zero contact on Earth as God. Grove XXIII. Tomorrow, bring your clubs. MJ, the room goes colder than February. Because every person in that room knows exactly what just happened. The king didn't just invite the princess. He declared war on the entire kingdom that tried to keep her in chains. And the girl they spent 2 years trying to shrink just got handed the keys to the throne. West Des Moines, Iowa. Population small enough that everyone knows your jump shot before they know your last name. Dawn is still purple when a skinny white girl with a ponytail that never stays neat slips into an empty gym that smells like floor wax and dreams. She's 14, maybe 15, dragging a laundry basket full of balls because her dad can't afford a rebounder. Every miss means she has to chase it herself. Every chase makes her faster. Every cold morning makes her hungrier. That girl never asked America to love her. She just kept shooting until the universe had no choice. Fast forward to Iowa City, where she turns a basketball program nobody cared about into the hottest ticket in women's sports. Sold out arenas. Little black girls in front row wearing 22 jerseys. Immigrant dads holding signs in broken English that say, "Thank you for showing my daughter she belongs here." Every logo 3 she drains feels like a promise kept to every kid who ever felt too something to be seen. Then she enters the WNBA and the temperature drops 20 degrees. They wanted gratitude. She gave greatness. They wanted her to bow. She kept standing taller. They sent bodies at her knees. She kept rising on her toes and kissing the rim anyway. They called her fans problematic. She signed every jersey, looked every little brown girl in the eye, and said out loud, "I play for you too." Watch the footage again. Really watch it. Every time they tried to break her spirit, she got calmer. Every hard foul, every snub, every "she's overrated" segment, she answered by dropping 30, and then walking straight to the kids in the stands with that shy, real smile that makes grown men tear up on live television. She never cried in public. Not once. But if you look close in those quiet moments after games, when the cameras finally turn away, you can see it in her shoulders. She was carrying the weight of every little girl who ever got told her dreams were too big for her skin. She didn't fight the hate with hate. She fought it with joy so pure it felt like rebellion. And that's what Michael Jordan saw. Not just the killer crossover or the 40-foot bombs. He saw the same quiet fire he carried when the league tried to shrink him into just another scoring guard. He saw the same refusal to apologize for being the moment. He saw a kid who understood, deep in her bones, that real power isn't given. It's taken one pure jumper at a time. Jordan watched her take elbow after elbow and still smile at the little black girl holding the "I want to be like Caitlyn" sign. He watched her thank the Spanish-speaking usher who cleaned the arena at 2 a.m. He watched her carry an entire rookie class on her back while the lead pretended she was a problem. And he said to himself, "That one, she's the one who's going to finish what I started." Because Caitlin Clark doesn't just play basketball. She reminds every immigrant kid, every queer kid, every girl who ever got told her accent was too thick or her skin was too pale or her dreams were too loud. She reminds them that greatness isn't polite. It doesn't wait for permission. It just shows up day after day and dares the world to look away. And now the greatest who ever did it has looked, really looked, and decided she's ready for the next level of the game. The level where you don't ask for a seat at the table. You build the table. Then you invite whoever the hell you want to sit at it. The girl from Iowa who was never supposed to be this big just got summoned by the king himself. And when she steps onto that sacred grass at Grove XXIII, she won't be walking in as a guest. She'll be walking in as the heir. The Florida sun is merciless now, beating down on the 9th fairway like it wants to punish anyone who dares shine too bright. But Caitlin Clark is glowing. She's in the final group with Nelly Korda and Annika Sorenstam herself. 2 living legends who have every right to treat this day like a charity cameo. Instead, they treat her like the main event. Nelly keeps stealing glances, that half smirk that says, "I know something the rest of the world hasn't figured out yet." Annika, the queen who built the damn tournament, actually asked Caitlin to read a putt for her on 7. On 7, the greatest female golfer ever just handed the line to the basketball girl from Iowa. The gallery feels it shift, like the earth tilted 2 degrees toward her gravity. Every green becomes a coronation. Little Latina girls in Sunday dresses sprint along the cart path screaming, "Caitlin, a key." Black dads hoist their sons on shoulders so they can see the white girl who never forgets to wave back. Asian grandmothers who don't speak a word of English clutch each other and cry when she taps in a birdie and point straight at them like she knew they drove for hours to stand in that heat. The LPGA doesn't dim her light to make room for anyone else. They crank the spotlight hotter. They let her walk ahead of the ropes. They put her mic'd up so 10 million people hear her laugh when she blades one into the water and says, "Well, that's why I picked basketball." And America falls in love all over again because humility wrapped in killer instinct is the most dangerous combination on earth. Meanwhile, 3 states north, the WNBA group chat is a war zone. Veterans who spent the season preaching protect the rookies are now furious that someone is finally protecting this one. One all-star posts a story of her own golf swing from 3 years ago with the caption, "Been doing this." It gets 400 likes. Caitlin's practice swing gets 40 million views before dinner. Kathy Engelbert is on a conference call that keeps dropping because everyone is screaming at once. Someone leaks that Nike Golf already sent over mock-ups. Caitlin on billboards holding a driver in one hand, a basketball in the other, tagline one name, every fairway, every arena. The legal team is panicking about likeness rights. The marketing team is panicking about budget. Kathy is just silent because she finally understands the math. Caitlin Clark's value no longer needs the WNBA logo to cash checks. On the 18th green, Caitlin rolls in a 15-footer for par, and the place detonates like it's Game 7 of the finals. Nelly grabs her in a hug, so hard they almost fall over. Annika kisses her on the forehead, like a proud mother. And in that moment, surrounded by women who spent their lives being told they were too much, Caitlin Clark finally gets an exhale. She looks lighter than she's looked in 2 years. Because for one perfect afternoon, nobody asked her to be smaller. Nobody told her the moment wasn't hers. Nobody made her carry anyone else's insecurity. They just let her be undeniable. And somewhere in North Carolina, a black Mercedes Maybach rolls through electric gates that haven't opened for a new guest in years. The license plate reads 6 rings. The driver checks his phone one last time, smiles the smallest smile you'll ever see on Mount Rushmore, and texts a single line. Tomorrow, Grove XXIII. It's time. The king has watched enough. Now he's ready to speak. The next morning, the Florida air still smells like yesterday's triumph when Caitlin's phone buzzes on a hotel nightstand. One new message. No name saved. Just a North Carolina area code, and a picture everybody on Earth would recognize. The black and red Jumpman silhouette. The text is 9 words that will be framed in gold one day. Grove XXIII. Wheels up in 2 hours. See you soon. MJ. That's it. No emoji. No hope you're free. Just the quiet command of a man who has never asked for anything twice in his life. She stares at the screen until it goes dark, then stares some more. You can almost see the moment her heartbeat syncs up with history. This isn't a celebrity golf outing. This isn't a photo op. This is a passing of the torch in real time, and the torch is on fire. 2 hours later, a blacked-out Gulfstream touches down at a private airstrip outside Orlando. Caitlin steps off in jeans and an Iowa hoodie, ponytail still damp from the shower, looking exactly like the kid who used to rebound her own misses at 5 a.m. A matte black Maybach is waiting. Driver doesn't speak, just opens a back door. On the seat, one single Air Jordan 1 Bred colorway, size 9 women's, with a handwritten note tucked inside. These carried me through the noise. They'll carry you further. Welcome home. Michael. She slips them on right there on the tarmac. They fit like they were molded from her soul. The drive to Grove XXIII is 47 minutes of pure silence. No music. No small talk, just a hum of tires on perfect asphalt, and the weight of destiny pressing against the windows. When the gates part, it feels like entering another dimension. 17 holes carved out of Carolina pine, like God's private playground. No carts, no spectators, no cameras, just legends and billionaires who move in silence and leave empires in their wake. Michael Jordan is waiting on the first tee in all black. Cigar already lit, eyes hidden behind aviators that have seen every kingdom rise and fall. He doesn't smile at first. He studies her the way he used to study defenders, like he's looking straight through to the part that can't be taught. Then he nods once, and the smile finally breaks. The same smile that closed Nike deals and ended dynasties. "Kid," he says, voice low and rough like gravel soaked in honey. "They tried to do it to me too. Told me to be grateful. Told me to wait. Told me the game was bigger than one man. I burned the whole script and wrote my own." He hands her a driver. Not a loaner. Custom. White and gold. CC22 engraved on the sole. Weight perfectly balanced for her swing. First rule of being the moment, he says, pointing at the fairway that stretches out like a runway to immortality. You don't ask if the stage is ready for you. You make the stage beg to keep up. They play 18 holes and talk about everything except basketball. They talk about brand, about owning your name before they trademark it for you, about turning hate into fuel and silence into thunder, about building a table so big that nobody can ever tell you where to sit again. On the final green, Jordan sinks a 40-footer that hangs on the lip, like it's scared to drop, then falls at the last second. He doesn't celebrate. He just turns to her and says, "They're terrified of you right now." Good. Fear is how you know you're winning. Never let them make you feel guilty for being the reason people show up. That guilt is their weapon. Your joy is yours. He pulls out his phone, takes a photo of her standing on the 18th with the clubhouse behind her, sun setting like the world is bowing. Then he posted himself. No caption needed. Just a picture and one emoji, crown. Within 60 seconds, the internet explodes, so hard servers crash. Kathy Engelbert is in an emergency Zoom when the notification hits every screen at once. Someone's phone slips from their hand and shatters on the conference table. Nobody moves to pick it up, because in that single frame, Michael Jordan didn't just play golf with Caitlin Clark. He crowned her in front of the entire world. And every gatekeeper who spent 2 years telling her to stay small just watched the king himself hand her the keys to every door they try to lock. The era of begging for respect is dead. The era of taking has begun. And somewhere in the distance, you can almost hear the old guard whispering, "She's not ours anymore. She never was." The photo hits at 7:42 p.m. Eastern. One frame. Caitlin Clark on the 18th green at Grove XXIII. Sunset bleeding orange behind her. Michael Jordan's arm draped across her shoulders like a big brother who just handed over the family empire. Both of them staring straight into the lens with the same calm, untouchable smirk. No caption, just the crown emoji. Twitter crashes for 11 minutes straight. Instagram servers beg for mercy. TikTok's algorithm gives up and just starts serving that single image to every human being with a pulse. Hashtag Grove XXIII with Caitlin goes #1 worldwide in 9 minutes. Hashtag Thank You MJ is right behind it. And then the third trend appears. Quiet at first, then roaring. Hashtag Free Caitlin. Because the internet just realized she was never free. Little black girls in Chicago braid their hair into ponytails and post videos saying, "I can be the face too." Latina moms in LA cry in their cars while their daughters scream, "That's going to be me one day." Immigrant dads in Queens who work double shifts just to buy Fever jerseys flood the comments. "She never forgot us. We never forget her." Angel Reese posts a story at 8:03 p.m. A black screen with the words, "Congrats, I guess." It's gone by 8:07. Too late. The screenshots live forever. Alyssa Thomas goes live on IG, face tight, voice shaking. "Y'all act like one round of golf erases what we built." The chat fills with laughing emojis and one single repeating comment. "She didn't erase you. She outgrew you." Nike drops the first teaser at 10 p.m. Black and white slow-mo of Caitlin swinging on Grove grass. Jordan's voiceover. "Be legendary." The shoe sells out in 47 seconds. Not women's, sizes only, every size. Men's 14's gone first. Because every kid in America, no matter what they look like, just decided they want to move like her. By midnight, resale tickets for the next Fever home game are quadruple face value. Again. And this time nobody's pretending it's because of the opponent. Kathy Engelbert's phone finally stops ringing. Because everyone gave up trying to reach her. She's alone in her office, lights off, city glow behind her like a funeral. One email sits unopened in her inbox. Subject line, Caitlin Clark Global Brand Strategy. Immediate review required. Sender, Nike Worldwide Headquarters. CC, Michael Jordan. The attachment is a deck. Slide 1. Projected revenue if Caitlin becomes a multi-sport signature athlete. The number has so many zeros Kathy has to count them twice. Slide 2. Projected revenue loss if the WNBA continues optics management. The drop-off is catastrophic. She closes a laptop, puts her head in her hands, and for the first time in her life, The commissioner of the WNBA feels small. Outside, the internet keeps roaring. Moms are posting their daughters' drawings of Caitlyn wearing a cape. Gay kids are writing poems about finally seeing someone too bright to be dimmed. Immigrant teenagers who don't even watch basketball are sharing the photo with the caption, "This is what America is supposed to feel like." And in Indianapolis, Caitlyn finally lands back home just after 2 a.m. She walks through the airport alone. Hoodie up, Air Jordan 1 still on her feet. A little black girl in a fevered jersey spots her from the baggage claim and freezes. Caitlyn kneels, signs the jersey, hugs her so tight the kid starts crying. Then she whispers something we'll never hear. But whatever it was, that little girl will carry it for the rest of her life. Because the message is clear now, louder than any headline, any hater, any gatekeeper. The future doesn't wait for permission. It just arrives wearing the shoes the king himself gave her. And tomorrow morning, when the sun comes up, the entire sports world will wake up to a brand new truth. The throne isn't in New York anymore. It's wherever Caitlyn Clark decides to stand. 48 hours after the Grove, Caitlyn posts one photo. Nothing flashy. Just her standing alone on an empty practice court at 5:47 a.m., ball on her hip, Grove XXIII grass still stuck to her Jordans, sunrise bleeding through the windows behind her. Caption, 8 words that will be tattooed on 1,000,000 kids one day. Grateful. Keep working. The table is ours now. That's it. No subtweets. No victory lap. No paragraph explaining herself to people who never deserved the explanation. Just quiet, unshakable ownership. And in that silence, the entire power structure of women's sports surrenders without a single shot fired. Because real kings and queens don't scream when they win. They just keep building while the old walls crumble behind them. The WNBA issues a statement at noon. For the first time in 2 years, it mentions Caitlyn Clark by name. First sentence, no qualifiers. They announce a league-wide superstar protection initiative, new marking campaigns built around her face, and a primetime national TV slot for every Fever game next season. Translation, we finally admit the sun rises and sets on her schedule. Angel Reese posts a video apologizing, voice cracking, saying she let jealousy speak louder than love. Alyssa Thomas likes Caitlyn's post. Brianna Stewart comments a single crown emoji. The veterans who spent a year trying to police her light finally look up and realize the light was never the problem. Their fear was. Nike announces the Caitlyn Clark signature line drops in 2026. Not a women's line. A global line. Billboards already going up in Tokyo, Sao Paulo, Lagos, London. Little black girls, brown girls, Asian girls, white girls, queer kids, immigrant kids, every last one of them staring up at the same face and hearing the same message for the first time in their lives. You don't have to shrink to belong. You expand, and the world rearranges itself around you. That is a new rule of power in American sports. You don't beg leagues to see you. You become impossible to ignore until they beg to keep you. You don't wait for the table. You build it, set it, invite whoever feeds your soul, and let the gatekeepers fight for crumbs outside the door. Caitlyn Clark didn't beat the system. She outgrew it. And in doing so, she handed every little girl watching, no matter where she was born, what she looks like, who she loves, the most powerful weapon any of us will ever hold. Permission to be undeniably, unapologetically, gloriously herself. The era of staying small is over. The era of taking up all the space your greatness demands has begun. And somewhere in North Carolina, Michael Jordan lights another cigar, watches the sunrise, and smiles the smile of a man who knows the bloodline is secure. The queen is home. Long live the queen. So let's say it loud one last time. For every little girl still hiding her light under somebody else's fear, Michael Jordan didn't just invite Caitlyn Clark to Grove XXIII. He passed the crown in front of the whole damn world and dared anyone to say she didn't earn it. He looked at the kid from Iowa who turned hate into horsepower, who turned cheap shots into children's dreams, who turned a league that tried to shrink her into a global movement that can't be contained. And he said, this one, this is the new face of American greatness. The era of begging leagues, networks, veterans, or gatekeepers for scraps of validation is officially dead. The era of building your own empire, writing your own rules, inviting every beautiful, loud, different, immigrant, queer, black, brown, white, broke, brilliant kid to feast at the table you built. That era just opened its doors. Caitlin Clark didn't just win. She rewrote the whole game. And now it's on us to keep it rewritten. If you're watching this and something in your chest just caught fire, don't let it die in the comments. Smash subscribe. Drop a fire below. Share this video with every young queen who's ever been told she's too much. Because the revolution isn't coming. It's already here. And she's wearing 22. Let's go.